Good morning. In today's class, we are going to discuss the analysis of an indeterminate truss by the flexibility method element approach. So, flexibility method, the first step is always to identify the static indeterminacy of the structure. So, step 1, static indeterminacy or redundancy. For truss member, there is a single joint truss. There are 3 members. It is determined as number of members minus 2. If there are 2 members at a joint, we can easily find out the forces by using sigma v equals 0 and sigma h equal to 0. So here the number of members is 3 minus 2. So it is statically indeterminate to degree 1. Static indeterminacy is equal to 1. That is the first step. So what we have to do? We have to make it as a determinate structure or a primary structure. For that, we have to remove one element from that, so that we will get a primary structure or a statically determinate structure. So here, how to remove a member? We have 3 members here. So always remember, it is better if we remove a member in the direction of the load. So here there is a load in the 10 kN direction. So if possible, you release that member. What is the advantage of it? That we'll mention in the coming session. So our first step is identify the redundant, and I'm going to remove. I have given number 3 for that. Remove member 3, or if I mark it as A, B, C, D, I remove member AC and get the primary structure. So the primary structure will be now, we'll be having 2 elements and the load 6 kilonewton and 10 kilonewton acting at this joint A. So A, B, A, B. I have removed that member. So AB is member 1 and this is member 2. I can write here the primary structure with external load. So the first step, identify the redundant, remove the redundant and obtain the primary structure. I have marked the primary structure with external load. Now I will mark the primary structure. This is the primary structure. What is the redundant? This member AC, force in that member is the redundant force. So I will assume that member is a tension member. So it pulls the joint A. Similarly, from here if I mark it, it pulls it. So this is marked as the redundant 1. So this is the redundant. The member force in this member AC is the redundant force. I will mark it as a tension force. It pulls the joint between A and C. It is R1. So this is the primary structure with redundant. So I have marked the primary structure with external force and primary structure with redundant. This much is in step 1. Now coming to step 2. Step 2 is you have to formulate the transformation matrix, force transformation matrix A. The definition of force transformation matrix is the matrix which connects between the element forces and nodal forces. Apply unit value of the nodal force and obtain the forces in the element. So for what we have to do is we have to apply unit load in one direction. Let me assume this as say P1, first force P1, the horizontal force, and this 10 kilonewton I will assume it as P2, the second force. So apply P1 equal to 1. So that means in this structure, for the statically determinate structure, I am going to give unit load in this direction. This is A, B, D. You find the force in member AB and force in member AD. You know, there are only two members. So using sigma V0 and sigma H0, we can find out the forces in these two members. What about this angle, theta? This vertical distance is 4 meter. This horizontal distance is 3 meter. So this is 5 meter. So I can write cos theta is equal to 3 by 5 and sin theta is equal to 4 by 5. To find the forces in members AB and AD, let me ask you, you have to go to the first semester statics, determination of forces in members. So let me assume, to start with, I will assume both these members are tension members. I will mark the arrow away from the joint. To start with, consider joint A. I will assume both these members are tension members. So resolving it, sigma V is equal to 0. Resolving in the vertical direction, AB sin theta plus AD sin theta is equal to 0. Or from that we will get AB is equal to minus of AD. Then I will put sigma H is equal to 0 condition. Resolving horizontally, this will have a component along the left. So minus AB cos theta, this goes in this direction, plus AD cos theta plus 1 is equal to 0. Resolving horizontally, AB cos theta towards left, so minus, AD cos theta towards right, 1 towards right is equal to 0. Now I have AB is equal to minus AD. So minus AB here, minus AD plus arm. So 2AD cos theta is equal to minus 1, or we'll get AD is equal to minus 5 by 6, and therefore AB is equal to plus 5 by 6. Minus 5 by 6 means it is compression, and AB is equal to 5 by 6 means it is tension. So this is a fundamental thing. Sigma V equals 0, sigma H equals 0, applying at a joint, we arrive at the forces in these two members. Similarly, apply unit load in the vertical direction. Next is apply unit load in the vertical direction, that is P2 is equal to 1, and evaluate the forces in members. So the next step is we apply unit load P2 is equal to 1. So in the determinate structure or in the primary structure, you apply P2. P2 is vertically upward. We apply unit load in this direction, A, B, D. We will assume both these members are tension members. Mark the arrows away from the joint. Evaluate the forces in members. So evaluate the forces in members. First of all, we will apply, say, sigma H is equal to 0. So that I can get, this is theta, minus AB cos theta plus AD cos theta is equal to 0, or AB is equal to AD. Then apply sigma B is equal to 0, vertically resolving, AB sin theta acting downward, AD sin theta also acting downward is equal to 1. AB sin theta plus AD sin theta, both of them are acting downwards, is equal to 1. Since AB is equal to AD, we will get 2AB sin theta is equal to 1. Therefore, AB is equal to 5 by 8. And AD is also equal to 5 by 8. That is, both of them are tension. Now I have to apply R1 equal to 1. unit value of force in the direction of the redundant. So this is joint A, B, D. Apply unit force in the direction of redundant. This is R1. R1 equal to 1. Let me assume this is tension. This is also tension to start with. Here I have mentioned you to release the member in the direction of the force, because if the load is acting vertically upward, we have the forces 5 by 8, 5 by 8 tension. So if the load is acting at this joint downwards without any resolution or without considering the equilibrium equations, I can simply write AB is minus 5 by 8 and AD is minus 5 by 8. So that is one advantage. I can reduce the numerical calculations by one step, because I have removed a member in the direction of the force. So if it is upward, the joint load is acting, if these are the forces. If in that joint, if the load is acting downwards, these forces will be just the reverse of it. So that is a common sense to release which member. If you can release a member in the direction of the load, if it is possible, we do that so that we can avoid one step of calculation. So this is a hint. Now we have calculated the forces in members for P1 equals 1, P2 equals 1 and R1 equals 1. So it is easy to write the transformation matrix. So transformation matrix is what? Force in member 1, P1. Force in member 2, P2. Force in member 3, P3 is equal to, when we applied P1, capital P1 equal to 1, what are the forces in the three members? The force in the first member for the first case is 5 by 6. The second member is minus 5 by 6. And third member is redundant. There was no force. There is no member. By giving P2 is equal to 1. Force in the first member is 5 by 8. The second member is 5 by 8. There is no member. It is removed. By giving R1 equal to 1. By giving unit value of the redundant, force in the first member is minus 5 by 8. Minus 5 by 8. And there is value 1 in the direction of the redundant. In the direction of the redundant, there is unit force, that is tension. So it is 1. So this is equal this into P1, P2, R1. So this is of the form element forces is equal to transformation matrix into nodal forces. So we have got the transformation matrix A. So transformation matrices, by applying unit value of the external forces and unit value of the redundants one at a time, analyze the determining structure and get the values of the forces in various members. So the first two steps were, first step you identify the redundant, release the redundant and get the primary structure. And the second step is apply unit forces in the direction of the external forces as well as in the place of the redundant and find out the forces in all the three elements. So that is transformation matrix we have formulated. And step 3 is unassembled flexibility matrix alpha bar. Here there are three elements. For the first element alpha 1, the element flexibility matrix for a truss element alpha. For a truss element, the element flexibility matrix is given by L by AE. It is nothing but the deflection. Deflection of a member subject to axial forces PL by AE. When P is equal to 1, it is L by AE. So the L by AE is the element flexibility matrix. In the question, nothing is mentioned. So if it is nothing is mentioned, we can take L by AE. This we can assume L by AE is same for all members. Let us use this condition here because I am having the answer with me for that sense. Otherwise, we have to substitute the length for each member, area of cross section of each member, modulus of elasticity will be the same. A truss will be made up of the same material. So substitute L and A for each member and arrive at the element flexibility matrix for each member. In this case, here this is assuming. I am assuming like this. So alpha 1 element flexibility matrix for the first element is L by AE. That's the same as for the second element, and it's the same for the third element also. I'm not considering L and A separately. I'm assuming it same for all the members. So the unassembled flexibility matrix alpha bar is, you arrange the flexibility matrix for first element, second element and third element in a diagonal manner, and the other elements will be 0. So the diagonal arrangement of element flexibility matrices is called unassembled flexibility matrix. So in this case it is, I'm assuming L by AE, taking it outside, 1, 1, 1. So it is 0, 0, 0, 0. This is the unassembled flexibility matrix. Next, step 4. Flexibility matrix for the structure F. For the structure is obtained by doing the multiplication A transpose alpha bar into A. So we have the A matrix 5 by 6. A transpose is 5 by 6 minus 5 by 6, 0. 5 by 8, 5 by 8, 0. Minus 5 by 8, minus 5 by 8, 1. This is A transpose. Alpha bar is L by A. You will take L by A outside. 1, 1, 1. A transpose alpha bar. Do this multiplication. First row into first column, first row into second column, first row into third column. You get the 3 elements. Similarly, second row. That into A. A is 5 by 6 minus 5 by 6, 0. 5 by 8, 5 by 8, 0. Minus 5 by 8, minus 5 by 8, 1. And after this multiplication, we will get the result. After the multiplication, we will get the flexibility matrix, a 3 by 3 matrix. You can see it is a symmetric matrix. And diagonal elements are always positive. So next step is step 5. The flexibility equation. The flexibility equation is F into P is equal to delta. This also we have derived it from the constant deformation method in the introduction video. Flexibility equation is F into P is equal to delta. So what is this? This is F. I will write it here itself. This is F into P. P means P1, P2 and third is R1. F into P is equal to, this is delta S1, delta S2, this is 0. So F into P is equal to delta means corresponding forces. P1 in this question it is given as 6 and P2 is 10 and R1 is unknown. Delta S1 is displacement of this joint. This structure, this is the original structure given to us. I have taken this as P1, this as P2, this was R1 and displacement of this joint A in the horizontal direction is delta S1. Displacement of joint in this vertical direction is delta S2 and displacement of the structure, original structure in the direction of redundant is 0 because only if there is any lack of it. If the member is slightly in excess in length or if it is short by length, if there is any lack of it, this will be having some value. Otherwise, the displacement of the member in the force of place of redundant is equal to 0. Now I have to solve these equations. In considering this equation, we can see the P1 value we have. What is the value of P1? P1 is 6. and P2 is 10. R1 is the unknown. So first step is we have to get R1. What does it mean, this equation? And this delta S1 and delta S2 are also unknowns, displacement of the structure of that joint A. So if you consider the first equation, 50 by 36 into 6 plus 0 is equal to delta S1. So if I get R1, I can find out delta S1. Similarly, the second equation, 0 into 6, 50 by 6, 4 into 10, this into R1 is equal to delta S2. So there also, if I get R1, then only I can find out delta S2. Consider the third equation of this. Let us consider, considering the third equation, 0 into 6 minus 50 by 64 into 10 plus 114 by 64 R1 is equal to 0. So solving this, I can get R1. So out of this 3 by 3 matrix, consider the last equation corresponding to the unknown redundant, solve it and get the value of R1. It worked out to 4.385 kilonewton. So the force in this member is 4.358 kilonewton. It is positive, so that means it is tension. So this is a tensile force. Okay. Now if the question they have asked for the joint displacements, I can write out delta S1 joint displacement. This is not mandatory. If it's asked in the question, you can do this. Delta S1 is nothing but 50 by 36 into 6 plus 0 into 10 plus 0 into R1. So it is independent of R1. So we will get delta S1 is equal to 8.33 L by AE. Positive means it is horizontal displacement towards right. Delta S2 is equal to 0 into 6, 50 by 64 into 10 minus 50 by 64 R1. So substituting the value of R1 in this equation, we will get it as 4.386 L by AE. That is also positive. That means the vertical displacement of the joint is upwards. Now this is not the question. The question is we have to find out all the forces in members. So the next step, so this is displacement of the loaded joint. Next we will go for the final forces in members. For that to refer the transformation matrix equation, forces in members are nothing but P. P is equal to A into P. Refer to the second step. From that we can write P1, P2, P3 is equal to, second step, A matrix is in the second step, 5 by 6, 5 by 6, 0, 5 by 8, 5 by 8, 0, minus 5 by 8, minus 5 by 8, 1. This was the A matrix into P1, P2, R1. P1 is 6, P2 is 10 and R1 is the value obtained in the previous step, 4.358. We will get 8.51 minus 1.49, 4.385. So I can mark it in the structure, in the original figure. This is the original structure. This having a joint load like this, 6 and 10 kilonewton. So force in member 1, it is 8.51 tension. So this member is 8.51 kilonewton. Force in member 2, this was member 2, it is compression. 1.49. And this was force third member, is tension, 4.385. So this completes the analysis of trust by flexibility method. Next video, we will see the analysis of continuous beams by flexibility method element approach. Thank you.